All right, guys. It is Wednesday, April 26th, 2023 at 8:01 p.m. Central Daylight Time. I'm your host, OU Flag Guy, and I'm joined tonight by Swiggy and Gavin for our once a month Wednesday hangout. We were going to have it last week, but I had some stuff that happened in the background, so we just delayed it to this week. Gavin, how are you doing today, buddy?
Oh, hi, I've been doing pretty good. Just been keeping on moving on up in the workforce as of lately, so that's pretty much a good thing.
Is that a good thing or not?
Oh, I consider it a good thing when you're getting the extra money. That's how I look at it.
Oh, gotcha. So you're moving up in the world as in good as in moving up and not moving up as in looking for different jobs or anything like that.
Nah. Yeah, just kind of moving on up in the workforce, so it's pretty much how it goes. So,
Gotcha. Gotcha. Swiggy, how are you doing, buddy? How's everything been for you?
Doing well. Can't really complain.
Good. I mean, we all know why we're here tonight, right? We're here to talk about the Power Rangers special and say how awesome it was to see everybody back together after a month. That's what we're here for. Or after like what 25, 30 years. That's what we're here for. No. Tonight, guys, for anybody who's watching us or anything, hey, we'll have the live stream link in the chat. And this is just a standard little hangout, kind of talk sports, talk anything you want to with us. Again, we'll throw the link in here shortly for it. But yeah, I think we have a couple topics we can talk about and kind of broach all over the place. I will say this, guys. Did you see the picture going around about a couple days ago about how OU really did go above and beyond trying to get some of the former players and everything back to Owen Field for the spring game?
hmm
Well,
yeah,
I saw the picture and it was the it was OU did a great job of like getting 100 former players to show up for the game and everything. And then I saw a separate picture that went, yeah. And if you attended the Colorado spring game, you also got to see 100 former players.
oh,
It was great. It was great. I want to start with that. Do you think Dion is already overstaying his welcome at Colorado? Because look, I understand he came in and you're a coach, you're going to have your own system. You're going to want to implement, bring your own coaches in. You're going to tell players, hey, this thing is not for you. But at the same time, I think he's down to 16 scholarship players. And look, the transfer portal is not filled with the best of the best. And I don't know if he's going to realistically be able to fill all those scholarship positions. And you have to think a lot of those players coming in are going to be one and dones. He's going to be dealing with 2 years of literally a lack of nothing. I don't see comparing to like what Brent did last year, or even Tebow did. I don't understand Dion's logic. Is he thinking that he's going to get players from other teams, like their 5 stars or even their 4 stars, and hop in and like transfer out? Like I don't understand his strategy.
I mean, the way I look at it is really, what does he have to lose by just burning a year? Let's face it. Yeah, he lost these guys. I mean, these are also guys who went 1-11 last year, 4-8 the year before, 4-2 in the COVID year. But you're talking. Colorado's had 2 double-digit win seasons since the year 2000. Their last one was 2016, and their other
Mm-hmm.
one was 2001. So, I on the one hand, it looks bad because Dion's letting these guys go. But on
Yeah,
the other hand, look, if Colorado has faith in Dion to do a full rebuild, just do it. You're not like USC and UCLA are still there. I'd
yeah,
rather I'd rather
yeah,
ha- I'd rather have the team I want 2 years from now in what's probably going to be a more open Pac-12, Pac-10, whatever the Pac is going to be called in the next couple of
they're
years.
going to be packing their bags.
Yeah,
Hey, that's my one of the night.
yeah, but
but
it's
and
not like Colorado's some great team, or it's not like they've done a whole lot. I mean, look, you never want to just purge a whole team, and you really don't. But
Yeah.
Dion's a weird kind of guy, and if he and really, realistically, I mean, is it going to make it? I mean, are those guys might get Colorado to 2 wins next year? Is there going to be any difference between 1 and 2 wins next year for Colorado? Not really.
Mm.
What were you gonna say, Gavin?
Well, part of it, like you said, though, too, but it also kind of it really doesn't hurt when you're just basically trying to rip out the entire foundation and everything, when in fact, you're basically burning a house and then you're just trying to rebuild it next to it at the same time. It just doesn't kind of work
What
out.
house?
You
What
need-
house? What house? They have nothing. They have no foundation. They're one of the. They're one of those. Colorado's a house that's current. Colorado's a house you call a handyman's dream.
Yeah. I mean, it's like you need to play. You need to have like the house you're still living in and everything while you're trying to build a new one and everything else too. Then you burn down the old one. That's dude. Don't burn it down first and then start building a new one if you don't have anything to go off on.
Right, and I guess I'm looking a little bit, and I agree with both of y'all. There has to be a foundation. There has to be something in place to come home to. At the same time, I don't think Dion has the investment that I think he does, and he's just trying to maybe get to the NFL as fast as he can. I don't know on that for it, but at the same time, too, I just don't see him laying this foundation that's going to bring recruits in. That's my issue. Is I don't see how this is. I understand they have nothing. I get that the Colorado fans are looking for anything and everything. I think some of that stems from you just had better competition in the Big 12 with OU, Texas, Nebraska, sometimes Kansas State and Oklahoma State, like preventing them from moving up in the world. But on the flip side of it, moving to the Pac-12 did them absolutely no favors. They probably had some buyer's remorse,
Oh yeah.
like just like Nebraska is, and I don't see. I understand how's 1 year. You get your 1 year mulligan. Okay. How's that going to solve next year or the year after that? Because let's say this year is already a total wash at this point, and you get your 1 win against your know-nothing FCS team. Okay, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
How is that going to solve next year when you're still already recruiting and you're going to have to build them up again? Do you accept it's going to be a 2-year, 3-year thing before you start getting good?
Yeah. It's Colorado. It's not going. You're not going to flip a switch and make Colorado good. Like this isn't like USC, where like
right.
USC,
USC's a blue blood. I don't
yeah,
count that because they can rebuild really
but
fast.
but or even UCLA. Like I think hey, I think Chip's done a great job at UCLA, but it's still to but it still takes time, and there's such a talent deficit. Like like look, I'll say this here. I do agree. Dion's putting it all on the line, but at the end of the day, we're losing all these starters. You went 1-11 with these starters, and I just don't. Look, if they're not Dion's players, they're not Dion's players.
Right.
We'll see. We'll see what happens. Like I said, he's put. Like I said, he is putting a lot out there, and it's definitely risky. But I mean, it's a 1-11 team. This isn't like he took over a 5-7 Notre Dame team or something where there's going to be talent there. I mean, name me one player from Colorado last year.
I can't. I genuinely cannot.
Exactly. So
Like how many have been entered the portal now? Like what, 17, maybe 18 players?
A lot.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
A lot. I mean, I wasn't being facetious when I said they may not have enough to field an entire team, a scholarship roster. At least there's going to be a lot of walk-ons.
Yeah.
Yeah, only 20.
Yeah,
Only 20 of their 83 scholarship kids remain.
I mean, they had a true mass exit. It's like I'll throw it to I'll ask
Yeah.
Gavin. Do you feel like Colorado is in a worse place than 1990? I think it was. I'm going backwards just a little bit. 1989 Kansas State, the year before Bob Snyder and
Oh,
Del Miller went in, or Jim Levitt.
I th- I'm, I think in that case you're gonna probably say you probably are at this point, because honestly, it's like if he's trying to build something or something, no, it's like it is. He's just like trying to progress it way too quick instead of it being organic for the most part. He
But
thinks
are
he
they
got some
worse off though?
fertilizer. I think they're gonna probably be worst off in like the first 2 years. But the only thing is that the thing, and this is what he's trying to bank off on, is probably a lot of his name and how he did with like Jackson State and everything, and getting all these top recruits. I mean, nobody saw. I can't remember his name though, too, but he was like the number 1 recruit, and they got him away from Florida State to go to Jackson State of all things. He's still, with Dion. And of
Yeah.
course his kids are also going to be with Dion. So it's like they're trying to basically build the talent there, a little bit there, but it feels like he's trying to make it into an overnight success, which it just won't happen, if you're not going to be in that 2 debt, because if that goes down, then everything starts to crumble around you.
Wasn't gonna. I mean,
I
what probably wasn't gonna happen with Colorado's talent anyway. But I do think it. But I'll say this here: the one thing it does mildly hurt for me, if I'm looking at Deion Sanders, you cannot do that max exodus most places. Colorado is like one of the few. Colorado is like one of the few places you can do it. So it's like Dion needs to kind of get in his head. Yeah, this is like a one-time thing you can get away with at Colorado, because an NFL team won't let you do a max exodus.
Well, and let's not
Not
forget
anymore.
too, Swiggy, that Colorado is also causing their own drama because they're, I think, until late this afternoon, what's it called? The administration or Dion was saying they weren't going to even let them have their footage, and the university had to come out and say we're not going to withhold footage. Like,
Yeah, that was
that
that was
like,
dumb.
why
Yeah,
are
that
they
was dumb.
like,
Yeah.
I understand a tiny bit to the point anymore of like, okay, I'm not going to let you transfer in conference or make you sit out a year. Okay, I understand a tiny bit of that with it because you don't want to face them. Withholding footage makes no sense at all, and that's
Yeah,
just being petty to
dumb.
be petty. To me,
Yeah,
that's
that
not
was
Yeah.
dumb.
doing your
Yeah,
players
that
favor.
was That,
It's
well,
unnecessary drama.
well, yeah. Well, that's the thing. Well, I guess that's the thing I'll say about Dion. While I respect what he's doing, I also think he's being an idiot about it. I also think he's being really loud and idiotic about it. Like, the footage stuff was bad. No footage was bad.
Right. That to me, it's like, Colorado, why are you acting like the heel when there's no reason to act like the heel? It just,
Yeah,
it's weird.
they're dumb.
It's bad optics. It's bad.
Yeah, I mean, it's just kind of, basically causing to where we're starting to see it burning brightly now.
Yeah. So anyway, that was just my thought on the Colorado. Somebody called, somebody wanted to get this stuff. Like, it's, yeah. Well, we're gonna see what happens with Colorado, what pans out with them, what they're gonna look like, and maybe we'll revisit, and they're gonna be an 11-1, 12-0 conference championship team here in like 3 years. Maybe they prove all of us wrong, and Dion proves he's the next Nick Saban. Like, maybe he does. I don't think he will, but maybe he does.
No. But
Right now, I just
Yeah.
don't think he's buying. I don't think he's doing anybody favors, and I don't think NIL is enough to get that Colorado roster turned around in just 1 year, 2 years at that point.
And
I mean, again, with him withholding the film with it, it's too much drama with a team that's probably expected to go 4-8 next year. Let's be honest.
yeah. Well, and the other thing too is like, like if you're basically one of those D1 scholarships, it's like top recruits, it's like, do I really want to play again in the Pac-12, when the conference as a whole is not going to be that good because USC and UCLA are definitely going to be out, so like the big brands of that are going to be nearly out of it for the most part too. And it's like,
Yeah.
why would I go into a conference that is very mediocre at best and has only had like what out of the last couple of years that you've only had 2 teams in the Pac-12 that have made the college football playoff, which was Oregon with the inaugural year and Washington in 2016. And that,
Yeah.
those are the only 2 times. So it's like, I don't know if I would want to buy into being in Colorado, and all that when the conference as a whole is pretty weak.
Right. Switching gears from Colorado and everything, because again, we could talk about this for a little bit. But I do want to highlight some of the spring game stuff. Gavin, what did you think of the spring game?
Well, I will say, Peyton Bowen, with that deep pick though too, I mean, that is something, I was really ecstatic seeing, when that happened though too. I was like, finally, we kind of got, somebody, in safety and everything, that can make plays, defensively for the most part. Cause I felt like a lot of times though too, the secondary, you know, was quite a bit better and everything with the young talent and everything else. So too, and not only that, but like they were swarming side to side as well, and I felt like they were starting to gel and finally kind of feel the groove in a little bit, and especially in that defensive front too. I know we've had some offensive linemen that were injured and everything, but that defensive front, is definitely, showing quite a bit of improvement with a lot of those that have been in the transfer portal. So I got to say, I was really impressed from the defensive side for the most part.
I just
Offensively, I'm still I'm still feeling a little weary about the offense, because I know Jackson Arnold, got some good plays in. Dylan had a few plays here and there, but the problem is I'm just not sold in because of like how they're running consistently. That's the biggest issue that I have.
I do want to
It's
say
like,
that Gavin, when you mentioned the defense and everything, PJ Audibare is my new adopted adult son. I just want to I want to say that now. I hope he does the best every play. I'll be rooting for him. He looks like a
yeah,
monster. It's
yeah,
fantastic.
and I think that the thing is that Brent
And
Venables,
everyone
his
watching,
bread
that
and
was a
butter.
joke. He's not my adopted son.
I know, but I will say though too, because it's like Brent Venables, his bread and butter when he was over at Clemson. I know defense was a strong suit, but in order to win, you got to have that defensive front more than anything, and getting the guys in the portals. Plus, uh, however you said his name, I'm sorry, I'm kind of hard with those sort of names. If I can get a nickname from him, that would be better. But like getting that sort of pressure in the front is definitely going to make you a chance to where you can win a lot of games more than anything.
Yeah.
I that's kind of where I was very impressed. Now, I will say there is some issues with like offensive line, yeah, injury stuff, that and everything else too. But you know, that is going to be the biggest concern with me is just dealing with that interior offensive line.
With your opinion, what's the meme? The stonks rising. If you had one thing you could say stocks are absolutely rising on, and they've got your buy-in, what's one thing?
Okay, what I would be buying into?
What are
I
you
would
buying
definitely
into?
just yeah, I'm buying into the defensive line right now. That's what I'm buying
Okay.
into is that defensive line.
What are you selling?
Selling, I would definitely be selling the offensive line. That's where I would be selling at right now. Because if you can't run the ball, or because the only time they make plays is like either going side to side or some sort of like little quick pass here or there. I mean, there was just nothing consistent running wise. That's kind of
Gotcha.
where my issue was.
Sure.
Can't win
Swiggy,
if you
what
don't have
was
a trenches running.
right? Swiggy, what was your impression of the spring game? What are you buying? What are you buying? What are you buying into? What are you selling? Just your general thoughts for it.
It existed. I did not see any of the spring game this year
Get
because
out.
I was busy. I was just busy. Did not have a chance to go back and watch it. So my only take on it is it existed. We had some people came out and attempts were made at playing football. That's all I got.
The disappointment is very high. No, I'll go to mine. I live streamed it with Sean. We live streamed for about 2.5 hours on his channel for it, and I gotta say, there's a couple things I will say is kudos first to the crowd for showing up. About 55,000 showed up for that, and on a cold. I mean, people are saying, "Oh, it's cold." No, it was genuinely cold, guys. That day, the wind was blowing on it, and for people to show up, not have the scorned ex-wife feeling from last year, as well as not truly having like the dedication of Baker there, as well as like there was one more I was thinking of. Oh, and also having a 6 and 7 season. Having 55 show up when you usually average about 35 to 40, that's pretty impressive for it. So kudos to the crowd for that. Gavin, since you watched it, I'll give you my take for it. It's hard for me to get, and I've said this in multiple videos in the past. Gosh, how many ever spring games? First, I don't buy into spring games. They're glorified scrimmages. There's things you can take and take away from. I just don't get onto the hype. I think it's more of this is what I expect them to do. Cool. If they do that, awesome. If not, I'm very, very worried for it. Like I said, and this is for another day for it. I also just don't like spring games just in general because I just feel like they need to do more to improve the fan experience for that. I'm not going to go out to those games for 4 hours to do nothing at that point. That being said, focusing on the game itself, I think defense is making leaps and strides.
Yeah,
The
and
recruiting is paying
yeah,
off.
and then what?
Absolutely. Go ahead. Okay. I would say
Yeah, I was
recruiting
going
is
to say,
definitely
yeah,
yeah,
like you
yeah.
said too. With
You going in and
sorry, I'm
out.
kind of having some audio difficulties here on my end. Sorry. What I was saying, it was I was gonna say, like, besides the offensive line too, but the other issue too is like how the playbook usually for the offense is like so plain vanilla at that
Yeah.
point though too, because it's like I kind of agree with you on that too. Because I think a lot of it too, besides just Dylan Gabriel that has been in the system a little bit while with Levy and everything, Jackson Arnold's still kind of learning of it. I'm gonna just say it. Arnold, it looks like he's gonna probably just be QB2 for now,
Oh,
unless
absolutely. He was
Gabriel.
never going to be QB1.
No, no,
But
yeah,
still going
because like
into
I
it.
think,
Now, that could change. But because you can see
yeah,
the flashes of brilliance already starting with him. That run, that should have been a touchdown, but they called it back because Brent Venables had the Infinity Gauntlet and decided to change reality at a whim, just like the points. That
well,
point
and the
system was
thing,
janky as heck.
yeah. Well, and the thing is, there's kind of a rule: if you touch a blue jersey, it's down. You basically play touch if you have the blue jersey. So
If you
that's
sneeze
kind of,
on the blue jersey, you're down. But
yeah.
the point of it is defense looked good. Defense, they looked bigger. Like I cracked the joke about PJ, but it's true. He looked like a junior from years past, and he's just a freshman. Dude's gonna put on 30 or 40 pounds before he's probably NFL draft eligible. He's gonna be a monster, and I'm looking forward to seeing what PJ does. Bowen looks great, and our transfers look great as well. They do bring the hype that is with them. They look good, especially with stuff we're hearing like Travis Ford. He got limited play time, but he made his presence known during spring practices. Like, yeah, he's going to be a force to be reckoned with. McCullough made his name known all over the field for it. The defense looked smarter and acted smarter versus last year, where it seemed like they got lost after a certain point. This year it seems the case. Right now, I'm not worried about the O line because I'm worried in the sense of we don't have it as deep because for those that don't know, we didn't have enough guys at the moment to even field 2 O lines for the practice, so the same O line kept playing, which is why Jackson Arnold looked like he was running for his life half the time. I don't have an opinion. There's too many guys out for it. I just don't know. It's the same thing with our running backs, though I do think Gavin Sawchuk he's coming from Marcus Major's job. I'll put it that way. I would not be surprised if Marcus Major loses it. Who knows? But the O line, I'm not worried about it. I'm not. Quarterback is just going to be. It is what it is. I'm still concerned that Dylan is overthrowing on some of those easy throws. I guess that's what you accept with Dylan at this point. But then again, that's what he was doing at UCF too a couple years back. So it's not like anything has changed with him, and nothing's going to change. He's going to be quarterback one, whether people, myself, like it or not. Now, if he comes out and flashes everybody and wins the Heisman for it, I will be the first one in line to say I am absolutely wrong. He had a great year, but you can have a great year just like Trevor Knight did, and then have a lousy rest of your career with it. I'm not worried about the quarterbacks for it, because you already know what's going to happen for it. The area of concern I have is wide receiver. Wide receiver, I'm not buying into the wide receivers. I'll put it that way. And I know everybody's rooting for Jaden Gibson. That drop ball was bad. Like, you can't drop that easy catch. Like, that was an easy catch. I think I could have made that catch. Not to get onto him or anything, but like, you got to make those catches, man. Simple little passes like that are going to come in the game. You got to make those catches.
Yep, time to get the tennis ball machine out, and let's see if we can go ahead and practice those catches again.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you with that. You just got to do that. Do exactly what Ryan Broyles did with it. You got to show up early and everything. But yeah, I would say my buy definitely is the D line and the defense. Wide receivers, we really, really need some guys to come in. And then, like I said, I just don't have any questions about O-line or quarterback. O-line, they're just gonna be a work in progress. I trust Beatenbow to do work essentially with them because of injuries and having Schmitty there. Wide receivers are my negative.
Yeah, but I think what's also going to be interesting too is that we're basically getting the Texas transfer that's also going to be coming in to help in the receiver room as well, crossing the Red River, joining the good side.
First time since 1936.
Yeah, but I think it's interesting because, like, from the looks and everything that he has and everything, I mean, he was like a top 150 recruit, 4-star, and he has he's kind of has like that Hollywood Brown speed in a sense, where he's not like the tallest, guy, doesn't have the great hands, but he has a lot of speed. So it's like, if you kind of get him like on a quick slant or a drag or something like that, watch out, he's going to definitely go in a heartbeat. And in fact, it was, I think they were saying like he only had like either 1 or 2 long catches that was against Oklahoma State, and that was like for a touchdown, which was like 32 yards or something along that line as well.
Right.
So I'm going to say it's going to be interesting how he fits into Levy's system. That's kind of going to be where I'm going to put at more than anything. Because if he has the speed and all that and everything, that's great. But I'm going to be wanting to kind of keep an eye on like how he's going to be with the hands and how DG is going to throw to him.
Right, and you're kind of like me, where it's a wait and see game at this point. I think the defense is the thing that's going to be the big one. They just got to figure something out with wide receivers. I think the O-line is going to be good enough to be able to give Dylan some time this year, as well as give the running backs room to run. I'm not really surprised that there was a lot of east-west stuff, just because the defense was just swarming all over the place, which is good. That means we're going to be good there. And I was trying to think other thought with it, but yeah, that was my thoughts on spring game. For what it was for 2.5 hours, they looked good. I'm looking forward to see what they can do next year. I'm looking forward to see what our transfers are going to do, as well as the freshmen and stuff we get. We'll see who's actually going to start competing for some of those positions and everything once the full unit and everything is in order. So I'm still disappointed that Swiggy did not watch it. Did you at least get a catch, Swiggy, of Kyler's statue?
Yeah, I thought the statue looked good.
It's probably the best statue that they've done besides Billy Sims. Like, it looks like him.
Yeah, it looks good.
Yeah. I thought the only thing that my small takeaway though was like, like how his arms were. Like I thought they were like, they were like longer than what his body was for some weird reason. I don't know why. Like his arms made him feel like he was like way too larger than like what his physique and everything should allow. That was kind of my only little criticism on that.
Yeah. Which, I mean, it's just how the statue is, but Kyler does have long arms just in general. So, yeah. But either way, good for the crowd showing up. Good for spring game for it. But yeah, what about tomorrow night's the NFL draft? Actually, since this is just a hangout, I can do this. Swiggy, I just want to let you know I'm very disappointed that they announced that Fast X is going to be a two-parter. I'm like, but why? Why? You have 12 movies.
Because it's cool.
No, it's not. It's stupid. We went from just
it's
simple heist
amazing.
to like, can we heist the space? Like, it's stupid. I'm even at the point where it's just like, I saw a thing of they finally announced like Fast 12 or whatever is going to be the last one. I'm like, you're full of crap, guys, because family is forever, and we all know it's going to go on forever. And this proved my point. Oh yeah, it's really going to be like 13 movies, but
I mean, that's what Vin Diesel. That's what Vin Diesel wants to do, and they're fun action movies. And you know what? We let society get away with giving us Jason X, Jason in space. So this is, I think we're at a better place now as a society.
But Jason X and Jason in Space had redeeming value with certain scenes. I'm not going to say and claim they were fantastic films, but you knew what you were getting yourself into. Fast X is just stupid. Or the Fast series, after a certain point, is just dumb. When they went to space, it was dumb. It got really stupid.
Hey, man, they got a tank. We're gonna use cars. We're gonna use cars to bring down. We're gonna use cars to bring down a carrier plane, because that's how it works.
It was stupid. You know it was stupid. I have every right to complain about it.
It was awesome.
No, it was stupid.
No, it was awesome.
It's just dumb. And I will go on that rant. And look, I think I saw like Fast 7 or whatever. It was the one where they pulled the vault out of the thing. I was like, it was what it was.
That is Fast 5. And you know what? Hey, imagine all the damage and deaths done to Rio, all in the name of getting Vin Diesel off the hook.
Neat. I'm more looking forward to Kung Fu Panda 4 that they just announced. But talking a little bit more sports stuff. NFL drafts tomorrow. I think I think Swiggy, we talked about it a little bit. Do we have any final projections of who's going to go in the first round?
I mean, Carolina's probably taking Young. I don't. I mean, maybe they end up taking Stroud. Maybe they end up making another move, but I'm pretty sure they're taking Young. And then the Texans are total. Nobody knows what the Texans are doing. In theory, they're going to take a quarterback, but I could also see the Texans saying, "We don't like any of these quarterbacks. We're going to try." I mean, look, for me, what the Texans should do, because they have the Browns' first round picks the next 2 years. They really should try and take that and somehow trade for Lamar, or do the sheet for Lamar, or find some way to get Lamar. Just because if you don't like Stroud or Levis, that's fine. But that's such a Texans thing to do, would be to not take a quarterback when you need a quarterback.
I mean, so speaking of NFL, I want to interrupt really fast because you made me think of the joke I saw on the Daily Show last night, where they were talking about Aaron Rodgers. It's like, well, Aaron Rodgers, he finally decided to he got transferred to the Jets, and when they were interviewing him, they asked where he got the idea for transferring to the Jets of all places, and we all know he had his little dark room sabbatical. He was like, walking in there, I was going to retire from football, but walking out, I decided I had a little bit more in me, and I wanted to go transfer to the Jets. That was the direction it was taking me. Reality, the joke was, Aaron Rodgers is no longer scared of darkness. Bring me the Jets.
I mean, that was.
Is he a reincarnation of Brett Favre for some weird reason?
That was
no, because Brett Favre's under fraud investigation. We don't talk about him.
I don't know. I still don't know why. I still don't know why the Jets gave up so much for him. Like, as someone who was an Aaron Rodgers fantasy owner last year, and he was my backup QB. I'd Hurts most of the year. He was bad last year, and you did a first round pick swap. gave a second, and at least gave another second, probably a first rounder, because I think realistic. Because I mean, Rodgers is going to play 65% of their snaps as long as he's healthy.
Yeah.
Like,
I just, like I said, I was just mostly throwing the joke in there with it because I thought it was absolutely amusing. But
yeah, I know what the Jets are doing. But I mean,
do
but no one knows what's going on with this draft, because
Nah.
this draft can go so many weird ways. It probably won't, because cool stuff never happens. But like, it's hard to say. Like, does Jalen Carter fall past it? Does Jalen Carter fall out of the top 10? I mean, I think for most teams, he probably should, because I just don't think you can trust him. But we also know a lot of teams are going to overlook stuff, and he probably is like the most, as far as the surest thing talent wise this draft. It's him. Like, I mean, mhm, um,
uh,
I mean, like, it's 100% Jalen Carter.
yeah.
But man, the personal stuff, the intangibles, it's like, he went to his own workout out of shape. Um, lying to the cops about what happened with the drag race. Like, I mean, there's a point where you take him, because he's at that point it's kind of worth the risk. But I just feel
Yeah,
this
but
guy.
man,
Mm.
he's dropping out of that first round, and it's just,
I
that
I
sucks.
I think he'll drop out of the first round. I could definitely see the Eagles taking him at 10, because because for the Eagles, they're a good enough team that they could take the risk on Carter and it wouldn't kill them.
Yeah.
And
Mhm.
he's a difference maker. But that's kind of the teams who are going to take Carter. A team that's good, but he would make them elite. So you said so a team can talk themselves into it.
Are we still thinking that Anton Harrison is going to be taken very, very, very late first round?
I haven't seen any mocks lately, but
I
The
mean, I
last
would
mock I
probably
saw was
say
like
second
pick
or third
31.
round.
No, not third round. He'll be gone by then. If anybody who gets him in the third round, he will be a steal. Um, the last projection I saw was extremely late first round by the Eagles.
let's see
Mm.
there.
That was the last type of stuff that I saw on it. I think Marvin Mims will be like third round. I don't know who he'd go to, but that kind of leads to my question too, as I'm looking through some of the draft stuff as well. Where do you think Bijan's going to end up? Because I kept on he had this start at number 1, then he's kind of just dropped, and he's maybe in the top 10 now,
B
and I think Oakland's looking at him.
Bijan is interesting, because it depends
Because he's a
how
running
much.
back.
Yeah,
Oakland.
yeah, it depends it depends how teams view running backs. I could see Atlanta being a team that chooses to jump on him just pure talent wise.
Yeah.
I I could definitely see it. I mean, Bijan's probably the strangest person in the draft, because he's 100% the best running back, and he's a guy who could be like peak Zeke, peak AD, or Saquon Barkley. But the problem is, for teams at the top of the draft, man, for most of them, running back is just not what you need. You have to come into a perfect situation at the top of the draft with a team that's like, okay, we're good at quarterback, we're good at tackle, we can afford to take a running back in the top 10.
Right. Well,
And
and that's the crazy part, is when you're looking at all of these draft prospects, Bijan's a great example where it's like I've seen him as early as like top
mhm,
10 with Oakland. I've seen him late as 17. Like,
yeah,
there's no telling how
Yeah.
much do they want to invest in him, and I think there is still a couple unknowns with him.
yeah, no, there is. I mean, look, at the end of the day, he's a running back, and the position, while it matters, it's not as important as it used to be. At least not to spend at least not to spend draft capital when you have other needs. Now,
Right.
not like when the Cowboys took Zeke. They were in a weird position where Rama had gone down the year before. They were in a position to take Zeke, but yeah, I just don't. I just don't know.
Yeah.
Where we,
But
I just don't know where we see it. I mean, I honestly think the Texans probably take Will Anderson. I mean, I think they should pick CJ Stroud, but I mean, I could see the Texans maybe targeting Richardson out of Florida at 12,
yeah,
or Levi's, however you pronounce his name, Levis. God, that's such a bad one. But I mean, I could also, I don't know. You know what? I'm calling it right now. I don't think Bijan falls below Atlanta. Atlanta feels like the kind of team that needs a lot of talent. They're going to take the best player available, and at that point, that will be Bijan. But I could be wrong.
Mhm.
side note, this was sent to me from our Colorado talk earlier. It's down to 13 scholarship players.
Oof.
Wow.
And a friend of mine, he messaged me on this, and I don't think he's wrong. He says, "Look, I get what we were talking about earlier, that there is expected change. You're going to expect a different system. You're going to find players who don't fit into the system, sure." And he said, "But don't you want to keep some of the players just because you need warm bodies for practice?" Like, he's like, even if they don't fit your system year one, don't you want to keep them around just for depth purposes? Like,
That's what tackling dummies
Yeah.
are for. Duh.
he's like, you cannot tell me that 72 like players were just worthless. But yeah. Anyway, I think aren't we for the NFL draft? Gavin, feel free to tell me if I'm wrong on it. Aren't we only really looking for Antoine and Marvin Mims at this point for our draft for it before it just kind of goes into the late rounds?
That's pretty much the only thing I can think of, the two. I think those two, I know they decided to enter the draft. I know Redmond, I think, is going to be a free agent. I think, and I know people don't really kind of scoff with the punters and everything, but I think Turk might go really late, if anything.
Yeah.
Because punters are usually like around the 5th, 6th, or 7th round usually, but
Right.
but he's kind of gotten a lot of attention, more for social media, if anything. So,
Yeah.
that's the only thing I would probably say. That those are the kind of the only ones that I can really think of at the top of my head that have decided to enter the draft. And
Yeah.
we forgot about Eric Gray. That's the other one that we were forgetting about.
I don't expect him till about 5th round, to be honest.
Yeah,
For it.
so
I think
and I
Bijan
think
has the hype, but Eric
no,
Gray,
no, yeah,
yeah.
yeah. I was just gonna say I don't think we've even talked about Eric Gray or anything like that at all from what we got. So now those were the only ones that I have, that I think we haven't really gone over. So
I won't be surprised, and it's not a knock on him. I won't be surprised if he goes mid to late rounds or if he goes completely undrafted. But then again,
yeah,
you also have to have running backs. Like,
yeah.
who's going to pick
And
him up and what are they going to do with him?
well, and the thing is that Gray basically has gone from, he went over to Tennessee, then the whole McDonald's bag, and everything that happened over there and everything, and he decides to get out and goes to OU, and then he was with for Tebow for quite some time. And then of course, he left and everything and then had a new system and everything to where he was under Venables too. So he's been under like 3 different systems in like what 4 or 5 years or so. And we've
Yeah.
never really seen that sort of flash or greatness, that made him a high recruit in the first place. Now, is that all on Gray? I'm saying yes and no, because like honestly, like sometimes when there's different schemes and systems and stuff like that,
Yeah.
it takes a while, to adjust in and all that though too. But at the same time, too, if you're wanting to be in the NFL, you got to play under, different styles and stuff like that too, to where you can use your talents for the most part. And I think that's kind of where it kind of hurt him more than anything.
Yeah, I agree. I can't think of anybody else off the top of my head. Because I'm just not gonna look up a list.
Morris.
You're right, Wanye.
Probably third, fourth round.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, probably so. I mean, he was decent, but he didn't have the greatest at times, too, especially in the offensive line, though, too. Another Tennessee guy as well. So.
Yeah, and it's one of those where it's like Wanye, I'm not high on just because like he kind of dialed it in all last year with it. He did just enough to essentially not get cut. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and it's like how I said, the 3 systems thing. Same, you can apply that to Wanye as well.
Right. Here's one we haven't talked about. With it, still football talk. With it, because we have some stuff. With it, I'll start with Swiggy this time because I know you have some opinions on it. I think you do. I could be wrong. What's your thoughts of the NCAA's new rules on like the 2-minute on the running first down clock and everything?
I mean, it's doing the NFL a giant favor because now you have guys who are going to essentially be trained for NFL stuff. I mean, it kind of sucks because you're thinking it sucks because you're going to lose. Because you're going to lose a lot. You're going to lose so many comebacks.
Well, and it's like their reasoning's stupid because we're gonna do this just for to try to decrease the games. Then why aren't you getting rid of the commercials, Whopper?
Because they pay the bills. They like I mean, but that's just it's very unserious because it's like here's the thing. This isn't like baseball where you had people been saying we want faster games, more action, blah blah blah. I don't know one person who has complained about the length of an NCAA game.
Nobody has.
I mean, and then again, you can take like how the SEC is, where they have, and I'm not kidding you, and you guys know this as well as I do. Like, whenever the SEC was on CBS or anything like that, they were on there from from 2:30 all the way up until I don't know, close to either like 6 or 6:30.
Yeah.
Too. So that's like three and a half.
Whoa! We gotta get in. We gotta get an infomercial in that time, man. Come on, we gotta get some quality weekday content.
But I'm the only thing I kind of get at though too is like if you would look at like some of the other conferences and stuff like that are a lot shorter by about 20 or 25 minutes than it is down the SEC. And especially when you see. Oh, go ahead.
I kind of think of it this way though too. When it's good football, length doesn't matter because Swiggy, do you remember when OU made their run for the World Series with baseball and before all the rule changes, and it was good baseball. This wasn't like they were bad. It didn't feel like 3-4 hours passed. Yeah, there was commercials. I feel like that's the SEC one. They can get away with it because it is legitimately good product you're putting on the field. It's like Avengers Endgame, Super Mario. You're not going to notice the time link because it's a good film.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's why I'm more. Yeah. So that's why I'm more. Yeah. That's why I'm more like. I mean, a whole lot of people are going to be in for some surprises next year because a whole lot of people would not have are gonna not realize this is a rule change until the first or second weekend. So
BK, have it your way. You rule. Oh, I'm sorry. Had to do that. Had to get out of my system. But and plus I guess I go back. Where are they getting like we're gonna shorten the stuff by 7 plays? Like 7 plays can make a difference for it. But then again,
Yeah.
7 plays more could also make a difference as well. I mean, don't come over and slash my tires, Swiggy. But like the Ohio State game against Georgia, 7 more plays probably could have got Ohio State to win that game.
Oh yeah, definitely.
7 or 7 less plays.
Oh yeah, definitely. It's definitely, and it's in for. I guess that's what it comes down to for me. I just don't get why you want less of it. I know we've had rule changes in the past with it, and that's fine. I don't necessarily mind it, but I felt like we were in a good spot with the rules where it always kept comebacks alive. It always kept things interesting. Like,
And then
I
they started to
mean,
mess with it.
and now you've messed with it where it's like, here's the thing. I might keep watching a 14-point game because I know the clock's going to stop enough times that the team down 14 points has a chance. But now, after a certain point, I'm just going to turn the game off. I know they're betting on most people won't do that, but I also think they don't understand how people watch sports, where after a certain point, if it's a blowout, people are going to stop watching.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, like seriously, I don't know how they do stuff for the national title game, but I can't really, I can't imagine if you take out sports bars, a ton of people watched that national championship game. Like I watched 5 minutes of it, and I was like, okay, we're done here.
Yeah, I was the same way too.
But realistically, everyone thought that. Like that TCU had no chance against Georgia. And it played out exactly like that because at the end of the day, Swiggy and this is a nice little segue as well too, to a conversation, Gavin, that Swiggy and I had like last night. There's a difference when you can tell there are elite teams and then there's great teams. And then there's like the pedestrian teams. There's everybody else. Yep. So I'll throw this one. So I saw this one on Reddit, so I'll bring it up here. There was a thread that asked, what are the best teams that did not win a national championship in the past 15 years? For us, I would say definitely 2008 and 2017. I think OU could have had a chance against Florida, but I don't know even now, 10 years removed from, or 15 years removed from 2008, if DeMarco Murray would have made an impact against Hernandez. I just don't know at this point.
I don't know about that either. And the other thing, though, too, and you guys know this as well as I do, especially when you have the psychological edge, because like when that first play happened, though, too, and Manny Johnson got knocked out, all the momentum pretty much just stayed with Florida throughout the entire game. It was basically Florida's game to lose at that point.
I think so too, and we just got hit with the injury bug for that. But adding that in, so 08 and 17 OU, I would say that. I would say 17 Georgia. They definitely qualified for that. But then people started throwing out like stuff where it was like,
I'm
just not a. Oh, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead, and then I'll go.
I'll throw in one. 2015, I think it was 2015 Ohio State. The one after their national championship year, where they had such.
2016.
Whichever one it was, I forget. It was the one after they beat the Ducks for the national championship game, where they had.
Oh yeah, that was 15. Yeah.
So much talent, so many first-round picks, and for whatever reason, Urban Meyer did not want to run Zeke all year, and it just killed. And it just, I mean, that's a team that could have easily run it back easily. But so much went wrong with that team. It's just not even funny, but whatever.
Interesting enough, back when one team that kind of really was building up all the hype and everything, but then it just fell apart for them. If you remember, it was like Mississippi State in 2014.
That doesn't count. They were a surprise team, but they didn't have that dog. They just did not.
And that's something, Gavin, I was going to bring up, is there was teams to me that 2011 LSU was a great example. 2011 Oklahoma State. They are great examples to me, like so much talent. 2008 Texas. I would even throw them in. I think they're better than their 09 team. But then people were throwing stuff in like, remember those Boise State teams or the 2008 Utah? And I said, guys, no, they were not realistically. Those were not good teams to win. I'm not saying they were bad teams. They were great teams. But Boise State got what they had. They had a weak schedule. They played in a weak conference.
It would have been a major upset. It would have been cool if they had done it, but it would have.
It was not one of those major teams that were overflowing with talent that should have won. Utah's the same way. Like, I get what people are saying on it, but then it's like they almost disconnect of this is what I want to see versus the reality of Boise State. I would say Baylor and TCU. They are another example of that. Those 2014 teams, they were loaded with talent and they had a shot.
And we're still arguing about the pass interference calls to this day, though, too, where, TCU said, why didn't we get a pass interference call, and everything, but yet Baylor got it.
Because you're TCU.
Yep. Because they're TCU. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
But no, I saw that, and a lot of it was the Utah one. I'm like, guys, Utah wasn't that good. I mean, they were, but they were not. They beat Bama, but it's easy to schedule your entire stuff around one team and basically go all in.
I mean,
like they did.
I'll say this here. Okay, I'll give people this. In the old BCS era, when you only had that one game, maybe Utah or Boise could have surprised someone. Maybe. I still doubt it. But at the very least, they'd have a shot. Like, the way it's set up now, yeah, it's like, oh, Cincinnati, yay, you beat Alabama. So your reward, you get to fight Clemson.
Yeah.
Oh,
it's like, it's no different, Gavin, on this one, too. Someone said, well, what about 2012 K-State if Colin Klein didn't get injured? I went, no. And it devolved into an argument that an undefeated K-State would have not even been threatened to get out of the BCS. And I went, I disagree. I said, K-State started to falter during the end of the year if they went undefeated. It doesn't matter because they didn't. But if Colin Klein was not injured, I said, unfortunately, all the ranked teams you face dropped out by the final poll, and Alabama had a very good run those past couple weeks. You can't ignore it. And I said the one team they lost to got better. That is the true quality loss, if you ever want to say a quality loss for it. I said I could I'm not going to say K-State was going to be bumped out, but at the same time, you can't guarantee they were safe. They were in danger for that if they would have gone undefeated for it. But it was just something I saw, and I was like, I get the thread. I understand it. But at the same time, it's like people have two different mentalities of what teams were actually deserving of it, and it's like, what did I want to see? There's a difference of 2016 Ohio State that was loaded with Zeke talent versus I just want to see a BCS buster. So it was a little bit different than for what it was. I've been talking a lot tonight. Gavin, any thoughts on your mind?
Oh, I was just gonna say too. I was very, I was gonna say like the women's gymnastics team is still rolling pretty good, so I'm pretty happy about that.
I mean, they won a natty back to back, so I hope they're still rolling good.
Yeah, although I was, and I'm not kidding you, I was just kind of laughing my butt off and everything because a lot of the comments and people were saying about the judges and everything of how our scores were so inflated and everything, and it's like, it's like the problem, like my biggest deal. It's those little tiny details, with your landing and whatever you do, and it's like, and look, if you make one mistake though too, the others have to pick up, and if they make some minor mistakes on their routine, it's just going to be putting you behind the 8 ball from there on out. And the thing is, the more consistent you do it, the better. And OU has always been the more consistent team than some of the other programs out there.
We're just a flippity flip school. That was also the day though too, Gavin, that I discovered that we're a flippity flip and a softball. Yep. That's what we are, guys. Now football's on the back burner. But no, jokes aside with it, with the gymnastics too. That was the day I discovered, Gavin, that gymnastics fans can be just as toxic as football fans.
True equality.
Like, I was like, my God, what am I looking at? Goodness, got everybody like, wow. Yeah, good thing gymnastics. I'm not after I figured out what it was, I'm not surprised that the men's team lost as much as they did. I was surprised. I was caught off guard with them getting fourth. I'm like, what? And then I found out, oh, they were just on borrowed time because of injuries and everything like that. I didn't realize they've been injured most of the year. And I mean, kudos to them. Like, you make it to the national championship on injuries. Like, that still takes some raw talent right there for it. But
Yeah,
it is a
yeah.
bummer that they
LSU
made it
women's
and
were the
didn't.
same way.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, softball's rolling as well. I think Bedlam's this weekend. Is it
No,
this
no,
weekend?
no,
Or is it next
no.
weekend?
That's Mother's Day weekend is where it's at. For 4th, 5th, and 6th. No, not 4th, 5th. It's like the 6th, 7th, 8th. It's like the same time as the Kentucky Derby. So
You're right.
it's
You're
around
right.
that
You're right.
weekend.
You're right. You're
Yeah.
right. You're right.
In fact, they were supposed to be playing Tulsa today, but weather kind of pushed it out a little bit though too. So they're gonna play Tulsa next week.
Tulsa's next week.
Yeah, but
yeah, because they're playing Kansas this weekend. That's what it is.
they're playing Kansas this weekend, and they'll have Tulsa next week, and then they'll have Bedlam, which will be in Stillwater. Now, if OU basically sweeps the series against Kansas, then they clinch the title since OSU got swept by the Longhorns last weekend.
It keeps seeming like Oklahoma State is like they have this opportunity, and then they keep just dropping it because what they dropped to Wichita State, I think, in one of their matches.
Yeah, they dropped to
lost
Wichita
the
State,
Longhorns.
and then and then they got swept by the Longhorns. So they've kind of been in this weird patch right now, and they're trying to find a way to kind of get back up. The thing is like they have like good pitching and defense that are around them, but it's been their offense that always gives them fits. And they only get it by some timely hitting one way or the other, and only manufacture runs. They don't have
Yeah.
like the offensive quality or anything like that can make them, a deep team. Now the defense can lead you all the way far, but if you don't have the bats to back it up, then that's going to
Yeah.
lead you into trouble.
Are you gonna go to the game next weekend, Gavin, for Tulsa? You said no.
Oh, I
hear
was
ya.
saying. So yeah, there's just no way you can. Oh, I'm sorry. I was just going to say there's just like no way you can be able to get that far with just pitching and defense alone.
Right. Are you gonna since it is in Tulsa and probably down the street from you, are you gonna go to the OU Tulsa game if you can get tickets?
Unfortunately, they're already sold out.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised.
And the problem is that it's basically houses like about maybe close to like 11 or 1200, sort of like the same with like Maria Hines Field. So it was just sold out like when they found out OU's coming to town. It was like the same thing when OSU played Tulsa earlier the year. Same thing happened to them. So
Yeah.
And I will say it's not a bad deal, when it's sold out, especially when it's an in-state, team or anything like that. But it's kind of hard because, like, OU's kind of been more the dominant too. Same with OSU, the most recent years too. TU's kind of just only not really had a whole lot of chance or opportunities though to really make it in that far.
Yeah. Well, and you mentioned it as well, Gavin, and I was thinking about it as well. I think it was announced right after the national championship that I think it's OU, LSU, I want to say UCLA and Florida.
UCLA is number 2 in the polls right now. And
No, I'm thinking gymnastics. It was it was announced right afterwards that it was going to be the well, no, it's not the order. It was like a combination of those four, I think. But ESPN's going to basically hold a women's classic on like I think ABC or something.
Oh yes. Yeah, that's going to be for like next January is what it is. It's basically like their way of starting the season off is what it is.
Yeah, here it is. Yeah, it's Utah, Florida, Michigan. No, no. Women gymnasts will face during the 2023 season. The Big 12 announced third place. Whatever it
I
is,
know.
essentially, that I think that's big for gymnastics for it though, that they're actually getting like a big main channel showing, and not just something on like ESPNU or Livestream or anything. Like that's a big deal.
Oh,
It shows
here's
how far gymnastics has come for college.
okay. Here it is: OU, UCLA, Utah, and LSU, and it's presented by ESPN, and it's going to be at the Maverick Center. That's where it is.
There we go. There we go. There we go. So yeah, and that's next January. But still, having that on television, that's a big thing, and I'm very happy that they're finally seeing like there are other sports guys that will draw people in.
Yeah, and
I'm
the
very happy
thing
about that.
is like gymnastics has been taking such popularity, and I was going to say this. Part of it is NIL, and the fact is that you're not just getting like national talent; you're also getting international talent because we've had some gymnasts, like Mount. I think it was like a gymnast for Utah. She was on the Great Britain's gymnastics team for Tokyo.
Yeah.
As well too. So, I mean, you're gonna get quite a bit. And like Reagan Smith, she was like an alternate for the U.S. national team. I'm just saying the talent has never been more steep, than I've seen over the years.
Yeah. Yeah. Swiggy, anything on your mind? I know you've been paying attention to the baseball rules.
I mean, there's not a whole. Right now, there's not a lot going on. We're just in playoff mode for NBA and NHL, which NHL playoffs are always so much better than NBA playoffs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did
And yeah,
did
Kraken are doing well.
Yeah, did what Swiggy, I think we very briefly touched upon it before. Did do you like the rule changes that they have, because they're implementing them now, correct?
Oh yeah,
With
yeah,
like the
yeah,
clock and everything.
most of them are fine. I mean, personally, I think the pitch clock could use about 5 extra seconds because the games go a little bit too fast. But that's just because I'm a sicko. I like watching baseball at 12:30 on a Wednesday, at 12:30 a.m. on a Wednesday night.
12:30 at night.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Ugh,
No, I need
I'm
all the.
asleep.
I need all baseball all the time.
Yeah, but you're a
Yeah.
baseball junkie though, so I mean, you can live and
Exactly.
breathe that.
Okay.
Um,
Okay, so Swiggy, I got a question for you. So, with all of this and everything, how would you feel? Because you know how they always cut off on the seventh inning, for the most part. How do you feel with that? That the games are going so quick to where a lot of people don't really get enough beer, by the time the seventh inning gets around.
I mean, teams are selling beer longer, which sounds like a horrible idea. But hey, we'll see. Mhm. But hey, we'll see what happens. Mhm. It's not like everything since the year 2000 has just been saying, "Hey, this is a dumb rule. Let's get rid of it," and then learning, "Oh, this is why we had that rule in the first place." But we'll see. I mean, we'll see. It's fine. It's like I said. I wish they had like 5 more seconds just to make games go a little, just for a better game. Just because I feel like at 20 seconds you're playing with your hair on fire, but like I don't necessarily like. I mean, it's definitely better. I want to say that. I'd rather have what we're doing now compared to 13-2 games that just drag. So it's better. It's better overall. I just have a few minor issues, but there doesn't really matter.
nitpicks versus
Yeah.
actual like negative. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Here, I got one for you just to kind of wrap up, since we have about 20 minutes. I'm
Mm-hmm.
going to offer an opinion, and I know it's an absolute hot take, but I think you're going to agree with me. More so Swiggy, because we talk about this a whole lot. So last night I saw the Super Mario movie,
Mm-hmm.
and we're a week off, guys, from movie madness 2023. So, and I love my movies. Here's my hot take that I don't think it's a hot take. I absolutely enjoyed the movie. Don't get me wrong. I don't think they're wrong of saying it's a very average movie, though. I know a lot of people got
No.
upset at that. But after watching, I'm like, if you take out every reference and every like Easter egg and everything, it's very bland. I think it is justified.
The thing is, you need to understand, most critics are very normal people. Like, they write to try and appeal to very normal people.
Yeah.
And, like, look, the average person does not care that, oh, they referenced the DK rap. Oh, they referenced something from Mario Galaxy. Oh, they did no. The average person doesn't care. They're watching the movie as what it is, and it's a basic kids movie. It's a very basic Illumination movie, which is fine.
It's good. And have you seen it? Have either of you seen it?
I have seen it, yeah.
I have not yet.
You saw it, you said, Swiggy?
Yeah.
So do you agree, like, it's fun, but it's overloaded with references?
It's fine, but, like, it feels like a movie that was meant to, like, get people to, like, do Easter egg hunts on YouTube.
Yeah.
And I'm just kind of like, I mean, that's just boring to me. Like the worst, like when Star Wars at its worst, it's throwing in like a couple hundred Easter eggs. Like like Easter eggs work when you do like one or two of them, and they're really subtle. But when but when it's like, oh, there's one, oh, there's one, oh that, yeah, no, no, and I think they made some good decisions, but. Yeah, but at the end of the day, it was a very average kids movie. Like it wasn't even Pixar level, which I hate to say.
Yeah. The highlight of that film was Luma Lee. The depressed Luma. That cracked me up.
Yes, that was funny.
The pain that we all endure as we all await our doom.
Yeah,
we're getting pretty deep.
Yeah, I think I was that was mildly disappointed. I was mildly disappointed because I did expect a little bit more. I know it's Illumination. I know it's a kids movie. It's aimed at 10-year-olds, but at the same time, I don't know. I was just expecting a little bit more into it. Like like I mean, like Lego Movie is very. I guess I was expecting more like Lego Movie level. Maybe not quite that. Maybe not quite that. But I was just expecting a little bit more. It didn't hit it. It's fun. It's good. If you have kids, they'll love it. I mean, kids will love it. And that's great. And that's the point of the movie. That's great.
It just seems more like a plug with all the Mario products to me. It's just kind of what it feels like from.
Yeah, well, and Gavin, you're spot on. But to me, that's the flip side of it, where it does a fantastic job pulling in however many years of Mario stuff and making it good. Like, none of it feels forced. Like, oh, we have to do this. No, it was like, for example, and it's in the trailer, so I have no problems mentioning it. It's been out for almost like a month. Rainbow Road was a great scene for that.
Yeah, that was great.
Like, there was nothing for it that felt out of the ordinary. It felt very in character for a lot of the scenes for it. Just like I think, and the script was actually pretty good. I was in stitches when they got eaten by the eel, and Mario's like, "Yeah, I know, Donkey. My dad's disappointed in me too." And Donkey's like, "Really? Well, he's right." And I'm like, "Oh, damn."
Yeah. But I gotta say, I was really impressed that they got Jack Black, playing as Bowser in the movie, though, too. I was really impressed by that.
Well, they paid him money, so they paid him money.
But I'm just saying, though, too, like, he's usually, like, really good, with doing his voice acting chops and doing a lot of stuff for, like, the kid family movies, if anything, too.
Black was good. I mean, Black was good.
Yeah.
Black was good.
Black was good. I will say there was definitely times where it was like it was Bowser, and then there was other times where it was like, no, that's a little bit Jack Black. That's really what it was. that said, what is there any movies you're looking forward to coming out over the next, basically right now, to like football season, like pretty much wrapped up, spring game if you're really stretching it, it's the NFL draft, but pretty much after tomorrow night in the NFL draft overall, we have until July, August, whenever stuff happens. Is there any meantime we're gonna have movie stuff with? Is there anything you're looking forward to?
Okay, I know this is gonna sound weird coming from me, but I'm gonna see what this remake of The Little Mermaid's gonna look like.
No, I don't think it's weird. Everybody's curious on what it's going to be. I think it looks great. I'm curious of the direction.
I saw a poster that really confused me though.
Was it Flounder?
No, it wasn't. No, Flounder, I come to expect the disappointment with him. No, it was showing Ariel and all of her sisters.
Oh yeah.
I just feel like the Photoshop's off on that one, but I agree. It looks weird it looks like bad Photoshop.
Well, yeah. Well, the problem is, look, we have seen Avatar: The Way of Water, and now we're definitely having a much worse water movie. So, yeah, that's gonna be interesting. Let's see.
I'm trying to think. I think there's like a Pixar movie, Elemental. I think is what's.
Yep.
That
comes out the 16th. Yep.
Yeah, so that's actually going to be very interesting, and how that's going to go, because you're basically dealing with like earth, water, fire, air, all that sort of stuff, and kind of like how they have their little own utopia, if anything. So
gonna see what happens with Indiana Jones. See what Harrison Ford still has going on.
His last film as ND. I'm going to be honest. You know what film I'm unashamed of, Gavin, that I will go happily watch with it, because I'm going to laugh because I know what the point of the film is. I am absolutely going to go watch and enjoy the Barbie movie. Yep.
Barbie, no.
Heard it here first. Okay. It looks legitimately funny. It looks like the writing is brilliant, and they look like they're having a fun time.
Michael Cera is Alan. So America will have Alan fever.
Yeah. Okay. I know there's a movie that's actually coming out, and it's going to be a little later in the fall, but I'm going to be really, really looking forward to seeing this. Killers of the Flower Moon. That's going to be one I'm definitely going to be looking forward to.
That's going to be great.
The 4-hour movie?
Yes.
It's Marty.
And believe it or not, I actually have one of my coworkers that actually was one of the extras on the film, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I gotta tell you, and all of it being shot in Oklahoma too, up over there in Osage County, that was probably, like the biggest talk of the town over here.
Yeah.
We're all looking forward to that. And the fact that they're actually starting to do some filming of the Twister sequel.
Swiggy, we're going to have to become extras in it. Just so we are immortalized forever on screen.
We'll
I got our dusty hats.
Yeah, there's just been so much filming opportunities going on to the state though too. Like I'm telling you, it's starting to boom pretty big over here.
Yeah, we'll see how long that lasts with our state legislature, regardless. But Twister, that's still but why?
Why not?
But why? That's my question.
It's a movie law that every kid has to do exactly what their parent does.
That's fair.
Because of the movie. That's movie magic, baby.
Yeah.
No, that's disappointment. One we haven't mentioned as well is I really do want to go see where was it? I just had it. I do want to go see Oppenheimer.
Oppenheimer looks interesting. I'm kind of...
Oh, Swiggy, you're going to go see it because it's a Christopher Nolan film.
I mean, I'm not a Nolan fanboy. I like Nolan, but like I'm definitely not like a hardcore Nolan fanboy where I have to see all of his stuff. As much as I like Nolan, he annoys me sometimes. But I don't know. I don't know. I guess we'll see. It might be good, but at the same time, it's just I don't know. It's Oppenheimer. He builds a bomb. It's nuclear.
Yeah, but it has Robert Downey in it.
Might be. Yeah, we'll see. I mean, we'll see. I'm not. I'm not for it, and I'm not against it.
That's fair. That's fair.
I just have no strong opinions on it. It looks good at least, but
Yeah.
like it's just one of those things where I'm just not interested. I'm just not super interested in it because it's like, I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I'll just buy a ticket for Barbie and then leave the Barbie movie, jump into Oppenheimer, see the bomb go off, and I'm good to go.
I mean, isn't that what everybody's doing? Sure. Sure.
We,
Don't leave out the explicit details on all of that, man.
Yeah. All right, guys. That's kind of all I got tonight. Like, that was a nice little hangout. Just chit chat a little bit, catch up. We had a lot of sports talk. There's been a lot to catch up on from it. And to be fair, you know what I'm going to be talking about next month. Let's just be honest. Let's just be honest, guys. Next month, we're going to be live stream for our monthly hangouts. Like, what's going on? Don't care, Zelda. That's what it's going to be next month for
I
me.
have man. I am hopeful on Zelda, but as anyone who has heard me talk knows how how overrated I think Breath of the Wild is. I'm hopeful it's better and fixes my issues, but like I don't know. I'm just maybe things will change, but I'm just like super not hyped for this one.
Zelda.
Yeah, I know it's Zelda, but like I didn't
Mhm.
but like I didn't like the general but here's the problem. If I don't like the foundation of Breath of the Wild and you build off that foundation, you have to win me over. Like, don't get me wrong, I had fun with it, but like, I don't know. I, I don't know. It's like, I don't know. You're making me hunt all those Korok seeds again. I don't know.
Zelda.
Once again,
That's all you need to know.
yeah, I'm hopeful.
Okay.
I'm legitimately hopeful. But like, the problem is I don't like the base. It doesn't matter if I don't like you. If I don't like your fundamentals, I'm not going to like you. Like you Halo Infinite.
Yeah.
Right? I mean,
Yeah. Right now it's Niantic and it's Wizards of the Coast who's competing it to go to the bottom, but that's another story entirely.
I mean, I'm hopeful. Maybe I'll see some stuff and it'll change my mind. Maybe I'll get into it again. But like, I'm just super not hyped for Zelda, and no one is more disappointed than me. But like, I just don't like it. I just don't like what they did with it. So I'm just not into it. Once again, hey, maybe I'll change. Reviews are gonna be coming out in the next week or so, and that can 100% change my mind if I'm feeling good.
And you're
And
not
it
going to
might.
trust them.
No, I'll trust. I mean, I'll take them with. I'll take things with a grain of salt, just because. Man, come on, 10 out of 10. It's like sometimes it's like sometimes when I see sometimes when I see stuff, I'm like, It's like the Flash reviews that came out yesterday. Oh yeah, sure, greatest superhero movie ever. Yep, yeah, we'll see about that.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
like I said, I'll read them and I'll be hopeful because there's a good chance I read them and I like it. I like where we're going with it. There's a good because, like I've said, look, Breath of the Wild had the best 20 hours I've ever played of any video game, and then it went on for another 100 hours, which just killed it for which just killed it for me.
Yeah.
I could spend an entire 90 minutes just complaining about that. So I mean, we'll see. Maybe I'll be with you. Maybe it'll win me over. But right now, it has to win me over.
That's fair. That's fair.
Mhm.
Gavin, do you got any final thoughts before we wrap up?
No, that's about it.
Cool. Swiggy, any final thoughts?
I am good to go.
Awesome. I want to thank everybody for coming and hanging out with us. We had a couple people hop on live stream, so I hope we gave you a couple hours of entertainment. Comment, rate, subscribe, like, hit the notification bell so you know when we go live or when I upload a video. I think next video, Sean and I are going to attempt to live stream Sunday. If we have stuff to talk about from post spring game a little bit more and go a little bit more in depth in it. Otherwise, I think at that point, next live stream will just be Sean and I in general. If there's stuff to talk about, or it will be a month from now whenever Swiggy, Gavin, and I hop on again for another Wednesday night chit chat. So I'll try to upload some videos at that point because I took a nice little break, but it's also been busy at work. If you know, you know. But it's been super, super busy, and hopefully my free time will open up a little bit more so I can upload like individual stuff versus live stream stuff. So again, comment, rate, subscribe, like, guys. I hope everybody has a wonderful rest of your week. Boomer Sooner, only one, and I'll see y'all on the next live stream. Later.
Peace.